Hey, fellow chap and chapettes. Got a new interesting one for you today, and this one actually comes from me forgetting to turn off autofocus. Anyway, this one comes from DigiKey, but it's a bit different to what I normally do, and it comes a bit later than intended because I pre-ordered this like a year ago when it was first announced, and then it arrived maybe 2 or 3 months ago, finally. I completely forgot that I ordered it. I wondered why it was turning up, and I had to go and find the back order. If you want to hold off a tick though, I'm just going to turn off this autofocus because my camera's a pile of shit. One moment. All right, there we are. So yeah, I got this thing and well, I pre-ordered it because it sounded really cool. And I'd previously played with the BeagleBoard RISC-V and FPGA product, which is really, really cool. That was quite a learning curve. It was a long video too. It was like nearly an hour long. I'll put a link probably down there in the comments. But I thought they're doing something a little bit different. I do like what BeagleBoard do. You know, it's kind of community driven and designed. There's a lot of good support around it normally, a lot of good community discussions about it. Made by Seed Studio and stocked everywhere. So I got this one from DigiKey. We'll have a look at how expensive they are shortly. But yeah, I'm excited to try it. And I think that they do some really, really good things. One of the benefits of these, in my opinion, is that they stick to standards because it's, you know, they don't make as many of their own accessories and whatnot. They want it to be compatible with everything, which means they're going to try to, you know, use connectors that you're actually capable of using. So let's have a quick unboxing and look at it. I think I might have already done this because the box is torn, but they are one of those very frustrating boxes. I'm going to grab one of my little PCB rulers. Any orders from my store, I still throw these in for free. If you order a Milk 5 product, you also get a free Milk 5 sticker. And if you order a LuxFox product, you get a LuxFox special edition ruler that I made with them. So you can see over here, whole pile of things. And then any order, you're going to get a ruler. But if it's a LuxFox order, you'll get a LuxFox one. So I use these quite a bit for like spreading solder paste, doing scratchies, opening boxes, cutting stuff that, not sharp, but good enough. And yeah, this one's covered in solder paste. So, having a look here, all right, we've got a nice little card that tells us where to get our getting started instructions from, which is handy because they've got their own domain and then just a short URL. Neat, nice little bit of static safe foam. And we have our product in an anti-static bag with some silica gel, and look at that, it even comes with an antenna. Delicious. So we're going to have a close-up look at this in a moment because they've done a few very different things, and it's not an SoC I've ever seen before, but I did just want to quickly do the usual thing that I do, which is thanking PCBWay. This is an ad read. I'll keep it short. You know I do a lot of them, but I don't know you necessarily understand that because of them, this channel's going. If they didn't sponsor me and support me doing this content and starting to design accessories for this and everything like that, I wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be watching this. So if we just want to have a really quick look at their website, I want to show you something different that you may not be aware of. If you go to their CNC and 3D printing, they've got some really, really good capabilities in here. And what's quite excellent is they have a lot of materials. If you go and look at any competitors, they don't have this many materials available. It's insane, right? Even if you go and look at their 3D printing, they can 3D print aluminium, stainless steel, titanium, and tool steel, along with all these other great materials like PETG is one of my new favorites. You can just drop a design in and they'll print it. It's really cost effective as well. Like this morning, I went through dozens of online places where you can actually get something done. Let me see if I can find one for you. I'll just drop a model in here. One tick. All right, sorry, my neighbour's decided to start doing something, but yeah, here we go. I just found a quick little flywheel design that I knocked up in AutoCAD for a gate mechanism a while ago. I was thinking about getting made, and look, it's 70 bucks, and then you can even go surface finish. That was 70 bucks, by the way, of alloy steel, 4140, which is pretty good. And I might just want to go powder coat, make it a nice blue. That adds 8 bucks to it. It's going to be less than 20 bucks to ship this to me, from what I was looking at earlier. And you're going to get a really good product, exactly as you want it, out of a decent material, coated how you want it. It's just a bloody good service. So thank you, PCBWay. Much appreciate you offering that and continuing to support this channel. So now, back if we have a look at this, let's change my autofocus a bit. And where is that setting over here? Here we go. I've set that. You probably can't even see it too. A little closer look, and It's a nicely designed board. I've got to give them a bit of credit where credit is due. I do quite like the layout and the look of this. It is missing one obvious thing, which is the EMMC. But let's quickly look around the board at a few things. We've got our standard 40-pin header there. It's not colored, but that's all right. Got Bluetooth 5.2, Wi-Fi 6, RAM, SoC. Now this SoC is a TI XJ722. That's a lot of numbers and letters. We'll have a look at the spec sheet in a moment. USB 3, gigabit LAN, pins for a PoE header there. Now, we have two different interfaces here. This is a 4-lane MIPI CSI, and this is 4-lane MIPI CSI/DSI, so it can actually be either. We then have here, what's that say? That is our UART debug connection, it's a tiny little JST. We've got what I believe is debug output there we'll have a look at. We've got some pins there that aren't used and a connector that's not actually labelled, but it's got a plus and minus. So I'm very, very certain that'll be the RTC battery connector because this does have RTC. USB Type-C for power. I believe that's also a 2.0 on the go port. We've got a dual coloured LED over here, a little button, which I think is a user button. This is your PCIe Express expander. So by the looks of it, it's single lane, but it's PCIe version 3. So that gives you a fair bit of throughput there. Got a little PMIC there and a few little other controllers as you'd expect. On the back, we have our micro SD card slot. We have an LED interface. Oh, I'm an idiot. Sorry, that's micro HDMI, isn't it? And we have over here both a JTAG port using that quick little connector. I forget what it's called. It's really neat though. Link below if I remember. But you've also got a PMIC debug port, which is really sweet. So they are using, what PMIC is it? P21910 it looks like. I don't know it. But the fact that they've got all that debug connectivity is really good. Now, as you can see, this is quite a thick SoC there as well, with a little cap on it. So it's probably going to put out a little bit of heat. But it looks good. I like this. So let's jump over to the actual spec sheet and see what we've got in there. If we go up to the top, here's the website here. We'll have a look at what it costs from a few different places. It is essentially a quad-core A53 processor that's got a 4 TOPS co-processor, or NPU, TPU, whatever you want to call it, plus an 800 megahertz real-time microcontroller built in. So that is pretty awesome. That's going to give you a lot of functionality from, essentially running your user interface on the general purpose processor. You've then got your NPU to do, say, your inference or whatever model you're going to run on there. Then you've got your RTOS core. So this could be real-time interpreting data, GPOs, input, everything like that. And then you've got your image acceleration. Plus, Gen 3 single lane controller does require an expansion, as we said. Your USB port, 4 gig of RAM, a few little other things. So yeah, Wi-Fi AX, gigabit PoE support. It can do 3 simultaneous displays using those 3 interfaces. Touchscreen support on the DSI as well. And everything else as we discussed. Now, obviously here, it doesn't actually say anything about the battery connector. And if we go and have a look at the pinout, I thought that was quite interesting too. So, nope, where was it that I saw this when I was having a look earlier? Design or documentation, one of those two. Their doco is always pretty good, pretty comprehensive. English first, which is amazing. It gives you pretty much everything you need. I say that as nothing loads up there. We'll have a look at that one in a tick. Pricing, Australia, they've got 221 in stock, 72 US, 108 Australian, and then freight's pretty cheap, $10 or so, or free in some circumstances, I think. So that's not bad. C Studio, much the same pricing, shipping out from China. Mouser, that page doesn't want to load. It's going to hard refresh that. Good spec sheet on there, 121 Australian, so a bit more expensive from Mouser. They've got a pile in stock though, so that is excellent. Over here, you can see it is the standard 40-pin header. They've got the color labels on there. Don't know why that's not loading, but essentially in the docs that I was looking at earlier, it doesn't actually tell you about the RTC battery connector. It is mentioned somewhere else, but it doesn't point it out on the board. It might even be, no, it wasn't in here. Good little getting started PDF. I'm quite happy with that. Let's just try and load that documentation again. Now, if we go and have a look at the images, there are quite a few variations here. You pretty much pick your board follow the green ticks by default. So you've got a little minimal CLI version, or you've got the XFCE version. It has a 6.1 kernel, which I'm very happy with, 6.83. There is the testing one, so it's got 6.6 if you want it. And then of course, quite a few other options, which is very, very nice. As you saw, there is the getting started guide, which makes it pretty straightforward. They make it very clear you have to use the SD card. For me, I'm not a biggest fan of that. I'd rather NVMe or a eMMC on board, but if you've got to use SD, so be it. Let's just not rely on that storage throughput. For some reason, this just isn't loading. I'll put a link below. You can go check it out yourself though. So, back to the product. All right, actually, before we get back to the product, this did actually load, so I'll quickly show you. It was on a different page in the end. It was on this one, which wasn't loading properly to start with. They've got all the specs here, but you can see, yeah, they don't point out this little button. So it is what it is. Look, before we go any further, I do also just want to show you a few quick things. There is my shop that you know about. You get the free stuff. I have added down here, though, suggest a product. So if you know of an SBC that you think might fit within my ecosystem, or you don't want to have to buy it from Taobao, drop me a line. I am going to keep track of this, and it encourages me to reach out to vendors I've not heard of or don't have contact with already, which is always good. Now, I am also new mod in r/SBCs. So I'm going to start building this out a little bit more. I've only got 3,700 members, but I really want to start making this the place to go. So I'd love for you to drop in, have a look through the content, help out some other people, and just start talking about what we can do. Any suggestions you've got, of course, both of us are always happy to listen. So now, if we get back to the product here, got the board, I've then just flashed a SD card. Now, this unfortunately is quite a slow SD card. I couldn't find any others. I don't know where they've gone. So we won't, hold that against it. It's got 4 gig of RAM though, so it's going to be able to run any of the benchmarks that we're going to throw at it. And we're going to do the standard test. So this goes in. Oh, that's a non-spring-loaded type. And unfortunately, I do have an issue with micro HDMI, but we're forced to use it here. So we'll plug that in. And don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way. If you like seeing this, hitting the like thing actually helps me know that. If you watch YouTube, you should know this. Hit the fucking button. The other thing I want to point out is these standard connectors are really good. So many vendors use their own connectors. These are stock standard. So HDMI, we'll get some power into it in a moment. I'll grab a cable out for that. We'll test out the usual stuff. So we want to see if the Wi-Fi works out of the box, if there's 3D acceleration, or if it's just going to be the 2D, as is quite common. The one other thing, just to have a look back here, is this TI AM67. All right, so that's what it is. GPU, DSP, deep learning accelerator. So I haven't used this SoC before, and I've only used like maybe 1 or 2 TIs, I think. So I'll be very, very curious. We'll also test the power after this using my little awesome Finersi USB power meter. This thing is excellent and great resolution, and they make a whole array of really good products, by the way. And then I'll benchmark it, and I'll put the benchmark results below so you can go and compare them to other things on Geekbench, both version 5 and version 6. So we will get some USB power here, get this out the way. Then what we're going to do is go to our no, not that one, that's OBS. What's going on? Capture. Here we go. So we can watch this as I plug it in and see what happens. All right, we've got a little red light on there. Not seeing, oh no, now it's blinking green. Not getting any HDMI output from it yet, but we just have a blink, 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 blink sort of heartbeat. So just gonna, oh my, you see what just happened? All right, so that adapter's dead. Let's try a different one, useless piece of shit. That might be why we didn't get anything on it. So plug another one in, and if this doesn't work, we'll reboot it, because I do know that sometimes there will be, of course, rules to pick up the display and enable display output. Sometimes it has to be there when it's powered on. Now this obviously is a little bit of an issue. I I don't think I've got another adapter that would be suitable. I've only got mini HDMI for that. So let's hope that's not that plug causing issues. I have, of course, put that XFCE image on this SD card. Still just that little red light there, as you'll be able to blurrily see. And now it's gone flashing green. Still no HDMI. Let me have a quick look at, yeah, black, that one. No, so it's not getting any input, and it absolutely should be. This is definitely interesting, and not too sure what to do about it at this point. It's definitely booted because of that little blinky light. I'm going to offline this for a minute, have a little bit of play with it. I'll get back to you shortly. All right, well, I've found another cable that is, you know, sans adapter. So we'll try that out just in case that was the issue. Also, just notice here that this does record audio channels really weirdly. Might have to have a look at that. So if this doesn't work, I'm very stumped, and I might have actually got a dud, but we can always still SSH to it, plug it into the lane, SSH to it, run the benchmark. So plug this in, see if it does what we want and need and love. No, look, we've gone to the green LED. I'm pretty certain the image that I downloaded, yep, Debian 12 XFCE BeagleY-AI. So we got the right one, but she's not doing what we want, which is very interesting. It's very unfortunate. We're not going to be able to test out everything right away. We will benchmark it. We'll have a look at how much power it draws as well. So unplug both of these again. I did also note just before, pardon my hiccups, it's not USB-C PD compatible. So when I plugged it into a PD port, it did not negotiate anything, which is, I would have expected more from something with a, what looks like a decent PMIC, but so be it. That's the way she rolls. Alrighty, got our little Tocket cable here. And, oh, that's got a bit of light on it. 550 milliamps, not bad. It's not doing much yet, still got the red light. I'm assuming it's booting. Green light, 800 milliamps. So it's sitting pretty stable, about 4 watt, which isn't bad at all. If we jump over and just have a look at the, let me just change my output actually. There you go. If we have a look at the documentation again, is that using 5 volt 3 amp? Yep, mine can do that. Not even using 3 amps. HDMI, Ethernet cable, wireless, and yeah, we get 0 penguins. Decklink's not seeing any input, and we know that thing works because we use it all the time. So this is definitely interesting. It's a little bit annoying. I don't know the reason. I can only assume from the LED that it's booted to that though. So let's quickly have a look at the debug process. Okay, it is actually using the USB-C port. So we can do that. Let's grab a cable and in fact, we'll use this same one. We'll plug it straight in and SSH to it. So there we go. So we plug this in and go, oh, it's going to be out the way a little bit. Can't see it. Don't worry, it is plugged in. So we are seeing a device there. What's the instructions say to do? Connect it with that after in power LED. Use SSH as shown, 7.2. That is a little bit strange. Do we have an additional network connection appearing? No. Okay, that is not how it works at all. We'll have to get one of those debug probes, I think. Yeah, that's a tad frustrating. What sort of debug probe is it? Okay, so it is just stock standard. If we go over to the header pins, UART, 14, 15. All right, so let's just plug in with that instead then. If we put this back down here, let's get this out of the way. I'm going to grab out my CP2104. Use that one here. Might as well power it by that as well. So that is going to need, whoop, shit's going everywhere. Cable of some sort. What's this one? That is crap. Sweet, all right. This one will do. We're not going to need that. What we want to connect is we have voltage, ground, so that's going to be 5 volt, ground. Then on here we want to go RX and then TX, which should be that way around. Let's double check that against the specs. Yep, 5 volt ground. Assuming that's the right way around. UART TX, make sure this is set to 5 volt, which it is. Plug this in and then we'll just gonna reach. That's wrong cable, dumbass. There we go. Let's actually get the right cable. Try that again. There you go. We have our almost red light. I'm sick of all that. Okay. Why is that actually not even recognizing my CP2104? This is plugged into the same hub as my yeah, that was a while ago. Plugged into the same hub as my keyboard and mouse. So I'll unplug that, plug it back in. Yep. Alright, this must be one of those shitty data only cables that can go in the bin. Let's try another one here. What else have I got? There we go. What's this? This is Turtle Beach, whatever that is. We'll try this. Sorry, you're just looking at terminal for a tick. Oh, that's a short cable. There is cables going everywhere here now. That's USB-C, USB-C. That's no help. That's mini instead of micro. All right. Try this one. I don't know whether, I think I'm taking them all from here to my house to use for something else and I forget about them and they never come back. I have so many at home that I should bring back. So plug this in again over, oh, you can, yeah, just see it. Board has power. Let's see if, still not fucking seeing anything. Getting annoyed at these cables. Because regardless of having anything plugged into the CP2104, it should show up as a device. So trying another cable. I used it like yesterday, I think. Hey, look at that. All right, the rest of these cables are going to go in the bin. So let's unplug the power from the board for a moment. Actually, we'll leave power on. We'll unplug ground. There we go. So the board's doing nothing. Let's clear this. And does it have anything about the board rate? No, so let's assume 1150-200 and see what we get. Plugging in power Is that ground? Now, oh, line up. There we go. Got no LEDs on it. Oh yeah, plugged it in backwards. Oh shit, I hope I haven't blown it up. All right, ground goes... No, 5 volt, 5 volt ground. That was right. All right, let's plug it back in. What in the living hell is going on? Unplug, plug back in. All right, quick, there we go. So somehow it just wasn't putting power out again. I've plugged it back in. The red light is on. Well, getting nothing, it's got green light. So what I'll do is I'll just make sure that I haven't got TX and RX the wrong way around. All right. Now we'll go back here. I'm just going to give it the old power cycle. I'll actually just unplug it, plug it back in. And we'll just see if we can find anything in the documentation about, is that just going to the same place? About that UART speed. There's nothing there. All right. We've got the green blinking LED and I'm seeing nothing on I/O. So I don't know if we have to use those dedicated JTAG ports. I really don't want to. So let's go through boards. So there's a Beagle V5 that I used before. BeagleY-AI here. Oh, we already had this open. Quick expansion, design, specs, demo support. Let's check all of those. No, don't care. UART port. Got to use the JST connector apparently for that. That's very frustrating. So it doesn't seem to use UART on the 40 pin possibly. See what it says there. So it's got, yeah, they're the ports we're using. Unfortunately, I might have gotten a dud. I don't know what else to do. It seems like a very promising board. I think I'm going to leave this here and maybe reach out to their support. SoC is generating some heat, so it's definitely doing something. But we can't use UART. Let me point out here. So we can't use UART because we don't have the adapter to use it on the board or that little thing. We aren't getting anything when we plug it directly into the computer with the USB-C connection. We get no HDMI output, but we know it's booted from that blinking LED. So yeah, look, I'm really not too sure. I might try out one other image. This video is already half an hour long. I'm definitely gonna have to edit some of this. I'd love your input below. Let me know what you think. If I do get it working, I'll benchmark it, or I might make a second video. Little bit let down, but I know these things happen and there is a million reasons it could be. So appreciate all your input and your patience. Definitely let me know. Hope you're having a good weekend and I'll catch you next time.